G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game of Age of Empires 4. We are here on Gorge to witness two of the world's best players face off against each other on the ranked ladder. This is game number 7, 8, maybe, somewhere in that region of 2025. It's been absolute bangers this year so far, and I tell you what, I reckon we're in for an absolute treat today as well. Let's introduce our players. In the north of the map, in the color yellow, playing as the Ayyubids, representing Team Fox. He's a bit of a fox himself. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Vortex. And in the south of the map, in the color blue, playing as the Juicy Legacy, representing Team 3D. He's a bit of a cat. Watch out. He'll get you. He's on the prowl. It's cat. Sorry. I can't believe it. We've got two animals in this game, and there's no beasts. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gorge. A pleasure to have your company as these players look to attempt to capture sheep early on. We got two variant civilizations today, the Juicy, the Ayyubids, and two of the world's best players. Of course, if you're unfamiliar with Vortex, it's a very nice, comfy, warm rock you've been sleeping under. And if you're unfamiliar with Cat, that's all right. He's a little bit less known, but still very, very talented. Current ratings on the ladder, or rankings on the ladder, I think you've got Vortex, who sits at about rank 5, rank 6, and Cat sitting at about rank 20, 25, somewhere in that region. So you'd have to say Vortex is probably a little bit above Cat with regard to skill, but at this level, you can often see some pretty big upsets. So we'll look out and see how Cat is going to develop in this game. As mentioned before, we've had absolute bangers this year so far, and I'm hoping that we get some similar stuff today. A little bit of an assessment of the map. Of course, we've got the 3 sacred sites in the middle. Relics are looking pretty balanced here. Wouldn't be surprised if we do see a priority for the Castle Age here. Both civilizations doing well upon hitting the Castle Age. Of course, the Ayyubids in particular love to pick up those early relics with the Dervish. At the same time, we do see some crazy fast age ups from the Juicy Legacy, with age ups as quick as 5 minutes 40 for your Castle Age timing. So we'll have to wait and see what Cat has got in store for us today, whether it is going to be that quick age up or whether he goes into something a little bit more professional. Anyway, for your deer hunts, we've got a little bit of an unfair deer hunt here with Vortex. His hunt is towards the front of his base, whereas Cat's just kind of off to the side, but it's a small little detail. And finally, gold distribution across the map. 2 safe, large gold veins. Probably not a huge amount of defense is going to be surrounded there, but we do now start to see age ups coming through. Meditation gardens coming down for Cat on the side of his opponent Vortex, while we don't see any age up through, despite this civilization being out for a year now. We will be able to click on the landmark and see what we're going with. I'm going to assume he's going with... honestly, I hope it's the Dervish. To me, it just makes so much sense. I don't know why players don't do it. You go, like, the 2 Dervish now, and then you age up with Vils to Castle Age. Let's have a look. Okay, military wing reinforcement. Okay, sure. To be expected. To be expected. But as I said, my preference is, like, logistics, definitely. But military wing reinforcement is going to mean that he can put some pressure out on this map, look to put pressure on this gold vein, try and delay that Castle Age. And I think that's going to give him a nice little window into the Castle Age himself. Now, age ups come through for Cat. We're right on board with him and see how he's doing. 4 Vils now moving out to gold. You know exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be a professional scouts opening here. You don't put this many... I mean, you could just go straight Castle Age. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if it's just... With a double scout opening, I've just realized now, with a double scout opening, it's not even up for discussion. It's going to be professional scouts. Let's check in with Vortex and see whether he's going to be doing the same thing. Now, keep in mind, he's got access to professional scouts. Won't have access to the boars this game, but one of the consequences of not going professional scouts when your enemy does is that it means they may potentially steal away your hunt. So Vortex will have to consider that as he looks to age up into the feudal age. About to come through. You can see he's got 5 seconds left, a little bit after 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Not a bad timing here. Second scout now coming through for Cat. And there's the age up now. He's got the resources to actually click it if he wanted to. I don't think it's worth it here. I mean, you could always just drop the stable and then go professional scouts, but I think you're probably just better off sticking an outpost on the gold and then just going for Castle Age. Because the priority is what? Pick up relics. The sooner you get to Castle Age, the sooner you get those 7 Vils as well. You're also able to get a little bit more food on the berries. Berries aren't the best spawn for him either, though, so professional scouts could become instrumental in food control, but we do now see... With the Desert Raider out, he'll be looking to try and control these scouts as much as he possibly can. Archery Rangers coming out, and he's going to move into Juku Nu early here, Cat is. Hold on a minute. he never clicked professional scouts. He opened with 2 scouts, but he never clicked professional scouts. Instead, opting to go into horticulture. Kinda weird, kinda wacky, kinda wild. Who opens 2 scouts and then doesn't go professional scouts? I've got like 2 thumbs and I'm pointing at my monitor. This guy right here. Cat has opted to avoid the professional scouts for the moment. So a little bit of a mix-up in the meta. Don't worry, we'll wait and see exactly what the plan is for him this game, but the Zhuku should be able to push back any of those troops that we have seen out so far in the map. I don't know exactly where did that camel go? It went to the north side. I think Vortex is definitely suspecting that there could be some professional scouts in the mix here for his enemy. Obviously, a double scout opening definitely signals that. Outpost now coming up. Ville's on the stone outcropping as well. What's this all about? Might be just looking to get some fortification on the outpost or just arrow slits to try and keep this alive because he is potentially weak from this east side with this outpost positioning and might want to get some arrow slits in. He does indeed pull off. You can see arrow slits comes through, 50 stone. And now those Zhuku moving around towards the top side. Age up, not yet clicked. Could look for the culture wing advancement here, but I would suspect almost certainly he's going to go into the growth economic wing. Ville's going to be falling back away from this gold vein. You can see that the micro is pretty decent from Cat. He reacting before Vortex even pulled the Villes back. He was very aware that they might try and go into that outpost. He manages to keep 6 Villes on the gold for the moment. Scouts chasing around scouts. And we've got another that's the upgrade coming through for the arrow slits. He's about to click up. No, he's still a little bit off it. Let's check in. I want to go back on board with Cat and see how he's doing. Interestingly, still no pro scouts. This is kind of wild, man. But the Zhuku numbers, have a look at this. He picks up the first Ville kill. Over on the berries, he's walked right up to the berry bushes before he engages. Over towards that east side, it looks like he's able to pick up a second Ville. So we've only got 5 that are over on this gold compared to the 6 that we almost had, but rather earlier had. Age up about to come through. Looks like he's not going to be going into advancement. You could technically go Dervish here, but I really don't think it's worth it. The Dervish are getting out slower. You can just drop down your Mosque and then go into Dervish after that. Could you do... Oh, this provides stone now. It used to just provide wood. Now it provides stone. Still not as good. But yeah, it's going to be growth. No real surprises there. Age up now coming through. 7 minutes 20. Not a bad little timing. Zhuku numbers looking good out here. And what is this scout all about? This, or rather this Ville. Is this Ville coming to put an outpost down on the gold? Interesting decision making coming through from him right here, Cat. We'll check back in on that south side. Look at the Zhuku number. He is actually going ham with this. We've got Dali horses in here. Increases the attack speed of cav units. It's been a while since I played the GOC Legacy. I got to be honest with you guys. So I'm not up to date with all the brand new techs because there's quite a few. Why? Why? Why is he killing his own sheep? Somebody tell Cat. You might be a cat, mate, but there's no need to take these sheep down. You're not a fox, all right? If you were a fox, I could understand wanting to take out the sheep, but that's unfortunately Vortex, who is the fox there. This villa's gone back to base. I don't know what the plan was with him, but I suspect he probably wanted to try and deny gold, but I think he can see the age up coming through now, so he knows that it's a little bit too late. And because of that, the Ville's gone back to base. He manages to survive. Zhuku trying to clean up these Desert Raiders once again. One of the best units as well to deal with this. And instead going to look to try and push villagers off this gold vein with the battering ram. Smart moves here. But the way I feel about this is that Cat has not been quick enough on this. I think the most important thing for him was getting in there very early, right? Like, because you can get this battering ram out. It's out at 8 minutes 46. You can get this out at 6 minutes if you really want to, right? And realistically, if you know what the Ayyubids is up to, they're going to try for a castle age, they're going to try and do that, you know how important gold is to them, then there's nothing that stops you from doing that. So I think it's a little bit of a misplay from Cat in that regard. But I guess the reality is he's gone quite for an economic focus behind the scenes. We see he's got the double broadaxe, we see he's got the horticulture and the wheelbarrow that's come through. No specialized pick just yet, but you wouldn't expect that for a man with 2 vills on the gold. Outpost comes down. And hopefully Cat's going to be looking towards that north side now. We do see he's got multiple units up on this angle. Ville actually going to be moving into position. Outpost followed by a mill. He's already on this berry patch. And naturally you can see him falling back. Castle Age comes through. Expect to see Lancers, or at least Camel Lancers shortly. There it is. Professional scouts now coming in. And this is something that I remember watching in a Beastie video where he was talking about the Juicy Legacy, and he basically said, you don't want to rush it straight away, professional scouts. You want to kind of get some units out, and then you get the age, or then you get the upgrade through. You just want to try and take control of the map. So that's what he's done here, is taking control of the map. The one thing I'd be cautious about, though, are the threat of Ghulams or Camel Lancers. The problem with Camel Lancers, if you go into Camel Lancers, though, spears will counter you perfectly. Whereas if you go into Ghulams, it's a little bit harder because you're getting kited, but you will be able to effectively counter those Zhuge-Nu. But towards the top side of the map, the outpost goes down. Not going to be successful in coming online as Cat moves away. There's the two Ghulams now moving towards that top side of the map. +1 ranged attack and ranged armor is already through for him. Quite a lot of upgrades this early on for Vortex. Market in the back of the base as well. No Dervish at this stage. Has a nice little villager advantage despite losing 2. We'll check back in on the south side. Let's check in with Cat and see how he's doing. It looks like he might be thinking about going Castle Age as well. Did he actually click Professional Scouts? He did click Professional Scouts. So he's up to 2 scouts now. He's going to be going for a few more. And I guess part of the reasoning behind... Oh, that is unfortunate. Those Ghulams are right next to those Zhuge-Nu. And that's going to mean that they are copping big damage from the very get-go. He's going to have to run away with those. I don't think there's any way you can really contest this. And now that battering ram, I mean, he's forced his opponent off the gold, but Ghulams are low gold units, so he'll be able to quickly get on top of that gold, I'm sure. Meanwhile, up towards the north of the map, he looks like he's just repositioned. Shaolin Monastery now going to be coming through for Cat instead. And he's going to be heading towards the Castle Age. So nice little play so far from Cat. You know, the Zhuge-Nu opening, the Professional Scouts behind it, the Castle Age. It's definitely well constructed, but how does he go about dealing with these Ghulams? My suspicion is he's probably going to look to supervise archery ranges. You can see a second one coming down here, and then just get some crossbows out. And that's definitely the most effective way to do it. You want to try and keep these Zhuge-Nu alive. You don't want to throw them out. Alternatively, you can look to just try and raid with them. That's something that we do see players do. They did that with archers, with Zhuge-Nu, even with longbows we see it, where they're kind of just throwing away the units in the Castle Age because they don't need them anymore. And they just go send them off for a raid. But we've now got 2 Imperial officials. There's the crossbows now starting to come out. He hasn't supervised this second range just yet. You can see he's starting to run into a little bit of trouble with these Ghulams. Town Center going to be firing down. Emplacement is through on the outpost as well. It will look to try and defend this position. Imperial official going for a little bit of a run. Needs to jump inside. Manages to get home safely. Ghulams now underneath the town center. Going to look to interrupt 23 villagers gathering food. You can see he's trying to hold on for dear life in this situation, but the Ghulam numbers are still strong. He's now got 2. He's down to 2 Ghulams on this town center, working down the Ghulams, and causes a little bit of idle time here. But at the end of the day, I think Cat's going to be happy with that defense, only losing the 1 worker in the midst of this battle. So we ride back on board with Vortex and see how he's doing. There should be a mosque. There's the mosque. There should be a mosque somewhere training up a dervish, is what I wanted to say. And this is appropriate. You know, once you've held the push from the Chinese or the Juicy Legacy player, then definitely you look to try and move out onto the map with that dervish. And we start to see more production coming down behind this. Triple archery range now coming down for Vortex. We'll check in with the economies for these players and see how they're doing, though. Cat is probably going to be a little bit behind where he should be, just because he had quite a bit of idle time here from these units that were in his base. Idle on the gold, idle on the food as well. So we'll wait a little bit before we take a look or do a stock take on those 2. Meanwhile, over on the east side of the map, Vortex is still scouting. You can see he's uncovered most of the map, but he's now looking to pick up relics. He's got 1 in the bag at the moment. Meanwhile, Cat is starting to defend. He knows that there's 2 up towards this top side, 3rd one down towards here. So if I'm Cat right now, I'm looking to secure this relic first, and then I'm going to defend these 2 relics with my army. I think that's the best way to play it, but Cat's going to opt for something different. He's going to go for the Shaolin Monk towards the top side. You do need to be careful, because there's always the potential you lose this relic up against those dervish. They can be very sneaky. Jiangnan Tower now going to be coming in for Cat as well, looking to head into the Song Dynasty, reduced... I was going to say, well, yeah, that makes sense, right? Reduce the cost of the economic buildings, not rather the time it takes to train some villagers. But now those unit numbers on this secondary relic have been depleted, as there's no more relic here to grab. Vortex, you can see, is rallied in the dervish. They're going to come up empty-handed, or it's going to come up empty-handed for the moment. The unit numbers now starting to build for Vortex. With Cat and plenty of vills on those deer back at home, we can see that he's picked up quite a decent amount of these hunts. I don't know exactly why it still shows on the minimap. I guess there must be... It's not that there's probably deer back here. No, there is. There's still 1 deer here. Okay, I'm doing this to try and find the deer, and there is. It's a sneaky little deer. So he's taken 6 from this one. He's taken 4 from this one. He's still got quite a way to go before he exhausts that. crossbow numbers together with the Zhukun are going to be kiting away from this cavalry Ghulam composition. You want your crossbows attacking the Ghulams and your Zhukunu attacking the spearmen, but it's just much easier to all just simply right-click the Ghulams. They're the main damage dealers in this situation. 9 damage here against 11 with that double attack. And now, scouts towards that top side. Got to look to try and pick up these deer without getting too involved in the battle that's here. Good kiting coming through from Cat. Veterancy now for the Zhukunu as it comes online. A little bit more attack, a little bit more health as well. And we'll check in with his main base and see that he is adding in more production. Keep in mind with the Jiangnan Tower, that'll mean he trickles in units slowly to this front line. And we did see, well, I don't even know what was back here. It looks like it might have been a Lancer. A Lancer was doing a bit of harassment for these Vils on the Gold Vein. Doesn't pick up any Vil kills either, where I've been at 2 at 1 for a while now. And look at this. Triple upgrade coming through. Got lumber preservation. We've got the specialized pick, and we've got fertilization all coming in at the same time. So big economy focus here from Cat. The only thing he's missing really here is that second town center, and it's often that we see it around this timing that it comes through. I don't know whether it's worthwhile him really investing into that at this stage. He's already put a lot into the economy. Professional scouts. He's put in all of these eco upgrades that have come through now. He's invested in Shaolin monks to pick up the relics. And we do see he manages to hold 2. That third one was sniped away. I suspect it might have been this one towards the top side. I didn't actually see which way it went or whether it was this one at the bottom, but I suspect this one's probably going to be a bit harder to take. So I think maybe it was this one at the top here that was denied. But now a second town center is going to be placed down by Vortex. Moving forward with a fair clump of units here. Does Cat spot this out? He doesn't see it just yet. Now he spots it. As it comes down, you can see that Cat is trying to snipe away all of these deer here. He's taken, how many has he taken so far? I can see there's probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a 5th one in here somewhere. I think that might be the case, but it's going to start the crossbow wars, that is for sure. Dervish on the way back to base. And a Mangonel is now coming out. Remember, Mangonel strong in the Imperial age, not so much in the Castle age. So Vortex here. Obviously, still, you know, the Mangonel can still do work, but you can pretty much ignore it for the Castle Age until it starts getting into higher numbers. Like, once you're up around 4 or 5 Mangonels, then you probably need to start respecting them a bit more. But prior to that, you can just kind of, chill. Now, speaking of chill, have a look at this, because Cat is definitely not chill. He spots out the town center from his opponent and says, okay, that's fine. I'll go double TC expansion. So with this... This is a nice little victory condition for him here. So the idea is simple, right? You're sitting at a similar number of Vils to your opponent. You want to try and get to the golden age of villagers before your enemy and leverage that. Try and get to the Imperial age before them. Try and just leverage that economic power and maintain that strength throughout the game. So we'll have to see whether that pays off for him or whether Vortex recognizes that. And I think it's an extra smart move, because with Vortex dropping down the second TC, he doesn't have a huge amount of intel about what the Juicy Legacy opponent is up to. He doesn't know whether he's going all in behind this. He doesn't know whether he's going 1 TC expansion, 2 TC expansion behind it. And because of that, I think this definitely favors Cat right now, because Cat did get that intel. Cat did see that town center, and he did see the expansion that was coming out. So Vortex now looking to make a move towards this North Sacred Site. Triple mangoes here. Don't be surprised if for the next, say, 5 to 10 minutes, both players just chill. And just remember, they both have a reason to chill. Vortex has a reason to chill because he's put down a second TC. And Cat has a reason to chill because he knows that the second TC has been put down, and he's gone for 2 extra TCs. So it's a whole, like, it's kind of funny the way that works, because you're taking advantage of what your opponent knows, in that they've got that second TC, and the longer the game goes on, the better it gets for him, basically. So very, very smart move here by Cat to be doing that and one-upping the enemy in this early game. I say early game, I mean, we're 18 minutes through, but the way these games have been going this year, I wouldn't be surprised if this one lasts another hour. I think, how many hour-long games have we already had this year? It's been kind of crazy. Every game that we cast just goes the distance. It's been a banger of a year so far, honestly. If casted games keep up this way, we're going to see a resurgence in Age of Empires, or at least in Age of Empires 4 casting, that is for sure, because they have been really good quality. I don't know if I'm like tooting my own horn here, but no, it's not. It's the players, right? It's the players. Anyway, hopefully the players keep it up, guys. Keep it up. All right, well, let's check in and see how Vortex is doing. We've got some transitions that are starting to happen right now on the other side of the map. For the moment, for Vortex, he's still on these deer hunts. That's the main key that we're going to be looking at here, because when you transition off or onto farms, it's going to be quite the delay in your army. And you can see that from the way that Vortex is playing here, he is really biding his time. We've got lumber preservation for him in. No horticulture, no fertilization, no lumber preservation just yet either for Vortex. Interesting decision. Hasn't gone for specialized pick either. Let's check in with Cat as the transition for farms begins for Cat. Paying a cheaper amount, only 53 wood compared to the 75 of the opponent. So you're basically getting a free, I think it's like buy 3, get 1 for free when you're playing as the Juicy Legacy. Does that work out? 53 is 150. No, it's buy 2, get 1 for free. Hold on. Yeah, because 53 is 159. So basically the same as 150. So your enemy's paying for 2, but you're getting 3. So buy 2, get 1 free. That's the deal that they're running for the Juicy Legacy at the moment. Don't do it. Don't do it. Cat, I'm no longer a fan. Holy moly, Manganelli, holy. It is a scary amount of Manganiques now. Putting the pressure on these town centers. Vortex has got the memo. You know, we talked about the fact that maybe there's a little bit of idle time out of this. Doesn't seem like it. Vortex really looking to hurt and put some pressure on. I think for Cat, he could have definitely invested in a keep. A keep would have stopped a lot of this. Actually, would have a keep stopped it? Yeah, a keep would have stopped this. A keep would have shut this down. He's got knobs in the back. Look at this. Triple knob now coming out. How does he respond to the mangoes? Is he going to look to try and take them out? Keep in mind, they've got a slightly longer range, 8 tiles of range. Or he could have picked a fight just then. Doesn't go for it. I think for Vortex, the biggest thing I'd love to see him doing is just put these into the line formation. It's kind of curious why he doesn't do that. Just, if you keep them in the line formation, it allows them to take much more favorable engages, because instead of these 2 firing and then these 3 waiting, as you can see right here, they can all fire at the same time. And it means that you get kill confirms on that nested B, rather than not getting the kill at all. I can't believe that we literally witnessed that right before our eyes. Impressive army, though, coming out here from Vortex, and I think he senses that Cat might be a little bit overinvested in the economy right now. Of course, we know the truth. He's invested heavily into these farms, and he continues to put more down. He's also gone into that 3rd TC, which is arguably a little bit cheaper than, or not arguably, objectively a little bit cheaper than the other civs, because he's got the Song Dynasty that's working towards it. But for the moment, it looks like oh my god. Okay, we have a Mangonel problem. We actually have a Mangonel problem. But hold on, we're in the Castle Age. Okay, so the issue is not the strength of the Mangonel. The issue is that the Mangonel has no counter. Is that the Mangonel problem? Like, what do you do to counter this? Like, look at this infantry mass. You're not getting through this. Oh, that's right. You just make your own. You make your own siege. That's how you counter it. That doesn't seem right. It's like Springles countering Springles. Now we've just got Mangonels countering Mangonels, or in this case, Nestor B's countering Manganiques. Look at the Manganique, the rain of fire. The rain of health. Look at the damage the Manganiques do. He's just going to go for landmarks at this point. Siege Workshop gets taken out. He's got nowhere to get this siege from anymore. He's going to have to throw down a Siege Workshop on them. Look at the number he's got. It's ludicrous. These siege battles are getting insane. Town Center, he wants to take it out. He's going to have to clump together. He tries to commit towards this fight on the backside. The knobs tee off towards the Manganiques. The infantry is not in position. He loses 1 off the front, 2nd on the back line. Ville's brought up, looking to do a bit of a repair. It's hard to see exactly where they all are because the buildings have gone down. He manages to keep the repairs going on those. Still 6 Mangonels remain, 5 Mangonels now. Still, we've got good numbers from the crossbows as well. Raids behind the scene. Palace Guards breaking through. He's taken out quite a few Villes already. Now in this game, and that number continues to rise for both players. We've got one losing in the fight, the other one losing in the base. And for the moment, it looks like Vortex is pushing Cat to his limits. There is definitely not going to be much left in this game if it keeps going this way. Look at the amount of damage he's able to do here up against this Nestor B. He's basically able to 2-shot it with those crossbows, and now on top of the enemy defenses. How do you even respond to this? I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe you want to bring Villes here to try and siege down these Manganiques. Maybe that's a way that you could do it. But even then, you can see he's trying to repair getting this nest of bees online. The triple Manganique on the back. There's the Vils that come out. All right, he heard the call. The Vils have been pulled from the side, and that's going to be the way to do it, and I think that's definitely it. Other than that, I don't think there's any real way that you can survive this, so it means he's going to lose quite a few Vils here. We can see 22 taken out already. There was a few taken out on the backside, but it looks like Vortex did clean up those forces. Meanwhile, towards the front, Cat still survives. He lives a little bit longer. He's down to 1 TC though, so he's going to have to get back on the high horse. So I think in this situation, what could have made a little bit more sense for Cat as he saw the number of Manganiques increasing was dropping a keep. Now, to drop a keep is easy, all right? Or to say those words is easy. Actually doing it, or not necessarily doing it, but having the foresight and knowing, okay, I need to drop a keep or I'm going to die here, that's a little bit tougher. And I don't think he had that knowledge. We obviously had that knowledge because we have, you know, we got 20/20 vision, and we got hindsight, and we got omnivision. But he's going to drop another TC. 4th town center for the game now coming in for Cat. In the back of the base this time, not putting them towards the front. Now, I would love to know the decision-making behind putting those initial TCs at the front. What was the idea there? Because it definitely wasn't to telegraph to your opponent that you were doing something that you shouldn't have been. It was almost, I don't even know. I don't know what the game plan was. Like, why not just put your TCs in this spot in the first place? What's your take on it? If you've got a take on that, leave it down in the comments. Let me know. Why did he put the TCs in the front? Because we're trying to break this down, right? We're trying to understand from the pros. We're trying to get better as we go. And it's understanding little things like that. Was it just that he was lazy? Surely not. Was it that he thought the town centers in the front were more important? And that it would buy him time by having them there? They're only 2,500 health. Like, you could have just put Raxes up there and it would have probably done a little bit better for... obviously would have done better for you. TC in the back now. So he's on 2 TCs. So looking to run parity with Vortex. Now, keep in mind at the moment we've got 3 relics against 2. So not a huge amount of difference there. But 2 relics in favor of... Or 2 sacred sites in favor of Vortex. 1 in favor of Cat. So he's ever so slightly behind on this trickle of gold. Meanwhile, towards the south, large gold being taken. Towards the north, the large gold is yet to be taken for Vortex. But we're moving towards it. I can feel it. Damn, this is already shaping up to be a really good game. I'm kind of surprised there that Vortex didn't get the kill. But I think it was just a smart move by Cat to pull the Vils in that situation. Like, I was thinking, I was going through my head, I'm like, okay, you need to drop stables and get horsemen out. But if you get the horsemen out, like, the crossbows will kill them. How do you deal with these Manganiques? And, like, the answer was very clearly, Vils were the key. He pulled Vils to repair the nest of bees. He pulled Vils to take out the Manganiques. It was a beautiful display of defense there. So, mistake from Vortex was that he overstayed in this situation. He tried to push in too close underneath this town center, and he got caught. Whereas, had he just gone back, he would have maintained those Manganique numbers, and he would have been able to potentially re-up against the opponent. But now we see the keep coming down in the middle of the map. With this keep, there's always an opportunity or potential that he goes for Imperial Age. Is he looking for it? Not just yet. You've got Culture Wing Advancement, potentially, to think about when you go to the Imperial Age. I guess the other option is Ayyubids. So this is more of like a short-term option, right? Like, you're going up for a cheaper amount, but you're not getting that investment of Imperial Age immediately, like you would with the Ayyubids. You could also do Trade Wing Bazaar, kind of like the... It's a bit of a mixer, isn't it? It's a bit of a mix. But we'll have to wait and see what the play is for him. But I think with this keep in the center, it's definitely... This is an opportunity to go to Imperial Age. Definitely, you know, if you've got your army here, you've got the full walls up. I mean, you got a little bit of trouble over here on the east side. They used to meet me on the east side, but now they don't meet me at all because I don't play as much. That's why. Yeah. Anyway, let's move forward, Drongo. All right. I'm shaking my Red Bull can. It's empty. It's painful. It's painful. I do have water. I'm going to reach for it. Give me a second here. We're 28 minutes through the game. I think I've got the right to just take a quick swig. Give me a sec. Is it cold, though? Yeah, it's still a little bit cold. You get points for that. That's an A tier water right there. Hold on. If you give that A tier, then you... Yeah, okay. That's A tier. We did a water tier list before. Not really a water tier list, but, you know, at the very bottom you had, like, water that can't be drank. It's a D tier. Water with the chlorine in it. That's probably even lower. I mean, it's still probably technically D tier, right? Anyway, cold water's S tier. And cold water with ice, that's like your S plus tier. Can't beat that. Units trickling through, finding a way somehow. I don't know how these... how did these guys get up here? How did these palace guards find their way through? I've got no real idea. Was it down here? Maybe we watched them come through. There's no way it was these palace guards, and they somehow made their way all the way up to here. Maybe that was the case. All right, well, farming economy starting to look good for Vortex. You can see he's got quite a few of them up. Let's check in with that farm count. 48 farms, definitely quite nice. Meanwhile, on the side of Cat, he's on 45 farms. So pretty even Stephens when it comes to farming economy infrastructure here. Both players pushing towards that 200 population. Have we got the click up just yet? Still don't have the click up from Vortex. On the side of Cat, not doing it either. So both of them going to be looking to hit that 200 pop threshold before considering Imperial Age. A smart move here. More units on this backside. Army's pretty even Stephens at the moment. A lot more siege, though, on the side of Cat. 4 trebs? That's kind of wild, man. How much is a treb going for these days? 400, 150. So 550. So you're telling me you're investing 2,200 resources to take out a keep, which is, what, 900 resources? That doesn't seem like a fair trade. Obviously, once the keep goes down, then the trebs can still be used. But they're also using pop space. I don't know, is that worth it? I feel like maybe triple treb is worth it. But quadruple treb? Nah, dude. Nah, dude. All right, well, wall up towards the north side was incomplete. Reminding me of a Backstreet Boys song. And now Spears making their way topside. Only hard and no veterancy just yet. They're about to come through. There it is now. A little bit stronger, a little bit longer. And Cat at 200 pop up against Vortex here. We'll look to try and defend against these horsemen. They're getting inside the base. Outposts are going to start coming up. He could go for a Great Wall Gatehouse somewhere along these lines to try and help defend or quell any potential raiding threats. But the knob's going to fire off instead. He might be able to pick this knob up. Spears running in from all directions except from the south one, and that's exactly where he's going to be able to escape to. No quick walls at this stage of the game. It's just the spears, and he's going to try and pick off these vills as he runs through. 30 workers taken out so far. Let's see if it continues to rise. Meanwhile, over on that east side, both players being chased out of their respective bases that they were attacking. There we go. There's another one that he picks up. And it's going to be... Did I say Great Wall Gatehouse? He's playing Juicy Legacy. I just realized as he put down the Temple of the Sun, I'm like, hold on a minute. He can't get a Great Wall Gatehouse in Drongo, you Drongo. For anyone who doesn't know, Drongo is an Australian term. It means, like, idiot. It also means bird. But in this context, Aussie Drongo typically means Aussie idiot. So, look, it's true to the name. It's true to the game. Temple of the Sun now going to be coming up. So we'll be looking for some potential buffs here. Of course, infantry speed going to be the primary one that he utilizes, but does have access to things like cav increased damage, healing over time, and of course that all-important siege range increase, or gunpowder siege range increase. Gunpowder, maybe it's just gunpowder increase? Let's double check and see. Gunpowder units and defensive structures gain one range. There you go. That's a really nice one to have, because the nest of bees are affected. Imperial Age through for Vortex. We didn't even click it. We didn't even check it. We don't even know which way he's gone. Who knows? Are there dervish? If there's no dervish, he just went the quick one. Didn't even go into Ayyubids, which is kind of wild because we've seen players like Corvinus 1 go into Ayyubids, and it makes a lot of sense, right? Because you go into Ayyubids, you drop 7 stables, you put all of those Ayyubids in the stables, and then you laugh as your enemy tries to kill the cav units. Knob's now moving up. Has he got that extra range on them? Not quite yet. Mangonels, no adjustable crossbars. Tight Bun's going to be coming through for Vortex on the defense. Elite units not quite yet through. Elite Spearmen, Elite Palace Guards, Elite Crossbow on the way for Cat. Meanwhile, on the side for Vortex, Elite Crossbows and Elite Horsemen. But now the knobs are taken out at point-blank range as the crossbow mass for Vortex continues to build. He's at 48, rallying in more and more horsemen. It's a combo named Wombo, and it is very, very potent. The Wombo combo, the Horseman crossbow combo. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, we see another raid coming in. Spear's going to be able to clean it up once again for Cat. Look at the Vil kill numbers, 38 v 39. These guys are absolutely prime right now. Well, neither of them are technically prime, but who knows? Maybe you'll get 37 one game, and then they'll both be prime. 37 and 73? Are they both primes? I think so. I want to believe. I remember reading an article about the best number and somebody saying, I think it was 37. I think so. I'm gonna, maybe that was a dream. I'm gonna have to double check that. I'll fact check it later. All right, we've got the Madrasa coming up behind the scenes. Spear's able to chase away these units together with a villager. Get in there, little guy. Give him the shiv. Give him exactly what he needs. And now Spear's gonna be looking to run behind enemy lines. You can see him rallying down towards this area. A couple crossbows might be able to pick them up. Spears eventually catch up with the horsemen, and it's just been non-stop inside the economies of these two players throughout this game. Speaking of economies, we've got an opportunity here to give a little bit of a check on them and see how they're doing. 2,300, 2,800, 4,100, 4,600, 4,700? 4,700 for Cat. Meanwhile, 1,800, 2,200, 3,600, 4,400. So very similar economies coming out for both of these two players here. Difference is largely going to be those upgrades. You can see that we do have upgrades for Cat, where no upgrades for Vortex on those specialized pick or acid distillation. Is it acid distillation anymore? It's cupellation. No, cupellation's the next one. Have a look at this. Have a look at this. Does Vortex see it? He does see it, but he only just sees the edge of it. And look, you can kind of see how Cat's looking to leapfrog along this edge. Vils do get brought towards this position. There's no... Come on, you're racing against the Chinese here, mate. There is no way you're going to be stopping that. And indeed, he agrees. He falls back away from the stone. It's 800 left on it. Not huge, but does lose the gold as well. And especially because it's on his side, this is instrumental. That's a swing of 8k, 4k from my pocket into your pocket, says Vortex. And that's not good. That's not acceptable. He needs to regain control of that gold. He's always got trade as an option. He could look to throw down the market here. He's got access to the trade post up in this corner. Maintains control of it for the moment. We'll probably want to see some more stone walls on this side just to make sure he's okay. But Spears now once again running through. He's found a little way to weasel his army in. And looking to neutralize the sacred site. No, he's just walking over it, just checking out how you're doing. He's got that extra movement speed now coming through from the Temple of the Sun. An extra 15%. So basically the Yuan dynasty difference. And now taking advantage of this stone that he's stolen from his enemy. When it comes to stone on the side of Vortex, he's only got the 1,200 remaining, or 1,150 in the main base that's remaining. Everything else has been pretty much taken. And that means that there's not going to be a whole lot of keeps on the defense for him. It definitely feels like Cat has a bit of an advantage when it comes to securing this bottom side. Montlu Academy now going to be coming in as well for Cat. So looking to move into that Yuan dynasty. With the Yuan dynasty coming online, that's going to reduce the cost of a number of different units. If I remember correctly. I need to make sure I'm remembering correctly on that one. How do I even do it? Can I even check? I can hover over the dynasty. I can't even check and see if I remember correctly or not. I'm pretty sure it reduces the cost of... you know what? Instead of opening my mouth and confirming that I'm a fool, I'm just going to leave it closed. And you guys can just think I'm fools. You lack the evidence to say I'm a fool. No, it's in the name. It's in the name. It's all right. Another horseman raid around the backside. 46 taken out so far, but that number will increase as he takes out more. These are elite horsemen. Keep that in mind. No biology in just yet, but it is on the way. Another 25 seconds to go. And I can't help but feel like Vortex may have made a bit of a mistake not going into the Ayyubids earlier. Now, obviously, he can still go into trade at a later date, but it just seems like a little bit of a waste not doing that. And look at this, losing more and more behind the scenes. We've got units on both sides taking out villages up towards this top side. The mill in particular is going to get messed up here. And the cleanup crew comes through for Vortex. Both players still even Stevens on that Vil count. 115 versus 111. 57 Vils taken out versus 61. It's kind of wild. Like, if you were to give these 4 Vils over, like, the difference between the Vil counts is like 2. That's kind of crazy. Especially 37 minutes into this game and 4 town centers later. No, 4 town centers later. It's kind of wild. All right, we got some big upgrades that could potentially come through. Could look to see Imperial Red Seals come in. Always a nice one. I personally love regional inspection. Definitely nice. There's nothing like going regional inspection and having a siege workshop on the front line and you just bring up an Imperial official on this siege workshop and it is just brrring out battering rams. I love doing that. That is so much fun in a proxy. Now you can just put down the siege workshops instead, but they are rather expensive. So it's, you know, it's kind of nice doing that. And you just get you just print battering rams, really. All right, well, for the moment, Vortex a little bit ahead with regard to that population count. Cat now throwing down the juicy library. Holy moly, this guy is not stopping when it comes to wonders. Landmarks, that's an AoE 3 reference right there, wonders. That's what they were called back then in Age of Empires 3. We've got the relic out now. He's moving him into pagodas. That's what he's doing. Wants to get a couple of pagodas working some magic. Plenty of spears back here. Elite army tactics on the way through for Cat as well. Also picking up precision crossbreeding. But I'd love to see maybe a little bit more stone on these walls. You can see, oh, there we go. He's now adding in more stone walls. Hopefully we see more on that north side. Okay, he's cleaned up that edge as well. Maybe you want to clean this one up. But you really want to try and bring this all the way across just to stop these annoying little raids from happening as the numbers continue to rise now. Vills on both sides getting taken out, though, to be fair, no, it's mainly Cat. Cat literally lost like 20 Vills in the space of a second. That was kind of wild. I think it was a combination of the raiding forces in the farmland and also the Vills down here on the mine. But have a look at this. Cat claps back and says, see you later, mate. Is there a cannon emplacement in there? Nope, it's Vills just getting taken out. Culverin with the range, 10.5 tiles of range compared to this keep, which has only got 8 tiles of range. You could look to increase it ever so slightly. Third TC now going to get thrown down for Cat as well. He realizes we've got to get that Vill count back up. And 3 TCs is more than 2. And at this point in the game, we can definitely justify it. A whole bunch of Trebs sit here. Is he going to clear up the population space for him? It's always nice. What do you even do with the Trebs at this stage? Like, there's nothing that they can really do other than just, I don't know, maybe just go and attack this town center. That's pretty much about it. They just lose a lot of value in this late game. But now Cat, dealing once again with these relentless raids inside the base, begins to send spears. And it's just spears that he's sending. He's not sending palace guards. It's spearmen into the enemy main base. They've got 16 damage. They've got this extra movement speed. So they're basically like spears at this point in the game. Also got a whole bunch of melee armor as well. Not that that's really that relevant. But he makes it into the back of the base. Still plenty of farms up here. He goes into the stealth forest. Decides to divide up the troops a little bit. Sends 2 spears down. 3 spears are off here. 4 spears now. And 6 more over towards the west side. Another crossbow unit going to trickle through. And it's just been non-stop. But both players have been just... You know, we often talk about how on a map like Gorge, what you'll see players do is they'll wall off one side like this. They'll wall off the other side with a big stone wall. And then they just kind of fight it out in the middle. That's been the opposite of what we have seen today. This has just been chaos. This has been chaos compounded on top of chaos. It's been like a big theory of chaos that didn't make a whole lot of sense. Well, maybe it did make a whole lot of sense. It depends who you ask. Just don't ask me. So where do we go from here? I think the most important thing is securing up your base like this with stone walls. Very important. You can see he's got a little bit of trouble at the front gate, though. It's been a little bit slow to get these stone walls up. I feel like this is something you could have invested in a long time ago. Look at this. He's just sending out more and more spears. Now, he still has units in the base to defend. And not to mention that if these units die, he can just easily replace them and pump them out. More and more spears now making their way forward. He tried to get the wall up, doesn't get it quite in time, and sends more and more spears into the enemy base. It's the spear raids. It's the constant spear raids, and Vortex is trying to chase them around. The #1 raiding unit in Age of Empires 4 this season. You heard it here first, folks. It's the spearmen. It's doing work here today. All right, well, the Ming Dynasty has arrived. We're looking for further upgrades. We've got Military Affairs Bureau. So you can supervise keeps and outposts to reduce the damage taken by 35%. A little bit niche, but is quite good. If you've got like a keep up in the middle and it's getting trapped down, you can supervise the keep and then it takes less damage. So that's really nice. Saves you a lot of stone as well and just makes it easier to repair. But more and more spears now on the south. He's trying to find Vills absolutely anywhere. Vill count at the moment in favor of Vortex. He's up by about 17. Spears back of the base. Change that number. 17 now to 18. He's going to continue building as these horsemen run rampage through the base. Court Architects now arriving as well for Cat. So he is really looking to invest heavily in these defenses. Another keep up on the north side. He's played well so far with these defensive buildings. Spears out the front. Keep in mind, Vortex really yet to secure his base. In fact, if anything, just kind of ignoring the enemy. He's got walls, but there's no stone walls. And in a game like this, I can't help but feel like stone walls will be the difference in victory and defeat. So for Vortex, I'd love to see some more stone walls coming up. Even if it's just to kind of control the edges, right? Like, let me give you a guide. Perfect. To here, stone wall across this. You could stone wall. It's kind of a bit hard to do it now, but you could like stone wall to this one. You just kind of want to play connect the dots with stone walls. That's the general idea. And you want to try and reduce that risk of your enemy getting through. So here, stone wall, here, stone wall, here, stone wall, and then across here as well. You can go down a little bit further if you want, like he's already done here with this stone wall. Thanks, Vortex. Good job. We totally missed that one. Okay, now he's stonewalling up the middle. Perfect, Vortex. Great job. It's exactly what he needed in this situation. I think both players kind of realized at the same time, or maybe Vortex a little bit later, but hey, you know, stone walls are very important in this game, and if I don't make them, I'm going to be raided to death because my enemy is he's going to kill all my villagers. And indeed, that was the case. But now, towards the east side of the map, it looks like we've got the crossbow wars. I take it back. It's the Jukunus. It's the Oh, what upgrades has he got? Let's double check. No 10,000 bolts just yet. I don't know if that's necessarily a mistake or not, but he does have bolt magazines, as well as the Ming Dynasty for that extra damage, baby. These units are going to start pumping. You can see they do a total of 13 now. So as long as he's able to get good splits in, he should be able to do really decently in these types of fights. More and more units continue to come forward. It's going to be Jukunu spears making their way to the front line. He's got incendiary arrows as well. The big thing I'd love to see, though, is that 10,000 bolts upgrade is really, really nice to have because it gives them an extra bolt. So now all of a sudden you're doing an extra 25% damage with your Jukunu, and that does make a difference when you're doing this much. Especially against units like elite crossbows, where they've only got that 3 base armor. You're doing 13 damage. You're doing 10 per shot. You got 3 bolts. That's 30. And now he's going to look to try and take down these horsemen. You can see just how strong they are and how scary they are running away from them. But he's still got decent damage numbers on them. Keep in mind that the damage numbers are solid. 13 damage. And look at how quickly he's able to take them out. Compared to like the Feudal Age, where it would be a lot closer. It's not the case here. In Imperial Age, the Jukunu is actually a beast. It is genuinely insane how good this unit is in the Imperial Age for the Jussi Legacy. One of the best units by far in the game once you reach this stage. There it is. There it is. 10,000 bolts. This is like fully upgraded. This is insane because he's got bolt magazines as well. So you get extra damage against light melee and you get that extra little bit of range as well. So now you're at 5 tiles. You can fight crossbows with crossbows. And you want to know the best part? This is part of the reason why it's so hard as the Delhi Sultanate, why it's so hard as Ayyubids, Abbasid to play against the Jussi Legacy in the early game and the Chinese. It's because of the Jukunu. The Jukunu just counters everything that they can throw out. And so naturally you look for Castle Age because you want to try and get into mangoes. Normally that's a great way to deal with it, or armored units like we saw with the Gulams, or with lancers, camel lancers, that sort of thing. But how does he deal with the Jukunu in the Imperial Age? I would be saying mangonels are your best bet. Now, has he gone into... Yeah, we've got a siege workshop here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this timing, dude. Look at this timing. I tell you, I did not pre-watch this game. I don't know what's going to happen in this game. All I know is what my heart tells me. And my heart tells me right now that this is a mangonellable army if I've ever seen one. And Vortex heart says the same thing. It is a mangonellable army, baby. So it's time for some mangoes. The only question is going to be about whether they are ripe or not, because things are starting to look a little bit scary for Vortex. These numbers, when they start pushing, are really going to dish out some damage. He's got the classic Feudal Age composition here, keeping the back line. Still no stonewall defense, able to hold it down. I don't know exactly what happened here. Maybe the trebuchets finally found value. He's had 4 of them for a while now, just been eating up the population space, but who knows whether or not they're going to end up eating up the enemy's base. Meanwhile, the keep comes online. He loses a couple of vills for it. Villager advantage now in favor of Cat. He's up 10 vills in this game. He's taken out a whole bunch as well. Look at this. He's taken out 35 vills more than his opponent. It is an absolute massacre of an economy. Meanwhile, on the defense, he's going to have to fall back because the economy for Vortex is still pumping out these units. Still max 200 out of 200. Despite the advantage that Cat's got, you can see that he is struggling to keep units out on this front line. Outposts trying to come out. Keep over on that east side. No court architects just yet either. It's going to mean the health pool is not as big as the Chinese side. 6,500 here for those ones. And now, more and more units being rallied in. It's Jukunu, it's Spear. Has he gone into the Spearman upgrade as well? No, he hasn't. Oh, he's gone into Cloud of Terror. Oh, he's moving into Cloud of Terror. This could be a huge difference maker in the late game. It allows your bombards to deal AoE damage. They become like ranged mangonels, and it means that you can fire on enemy mangonels and do ranged damage to them. But now the Manjaniques. Now the Manjaniques looking to line up their enemy. I wouldn't be surprised if the moment Cat spots these Manjaniques, that he immediately goes into bombards. Immediately. And there's the first strike. Let's see what the reaction is, whether he clicks a bombard. I would literally just be like down here. Wait, what are the upgrades? Okay, he's got everything relevant except for greased axles. Bombards straight away. And back towards the front. Mango fires off. Big shot. Doesn't get a huge amount of kills. Second one's coming in. I don't know what happened there. A little bit of an early shot. Nice damage. Second shot. Third shot lands a little bit. He needs to get them synced up. That way you get guaranteed kills when you land. And there's no dodging. Nice little, yeah, look at this damage control. Vortex really looking solid. These mangonels have just shifted the battle in favor of Vortex. And we're going to need to see, yeah, there they are. There's the bombards now. In response, Cat moving into that Imperial Age composition. What a game. Oh, you know, we were talking about bangers at the start of this game. We got another certified banger here for you, folks. Another knee slapper, another absolute killer game. These two are going at it head-to-head. Where is the pain going to end? Who knows? But I tell you what, the Jukunu are not going to be stopping anytime soon. He's got 27 Palace Guards in queue, 20 more Jukunu on the way to the front line, and a whole bunch of spears as well. First of the bombards is out. Look at the Manjanique. When you see this many Manjaniques, you can't fight it. You can't fight it. You got to fall back. You need to get more bombards. Yeah, he goes straight into 3 bombards. Exactly what he needs to do. We need to supervise this as well. Where's our supervisor? Imperial officials down here. I don't know if he's on the granary or not. He's definitely not on the Siege Workshop. Needs to switch this up straight away. Needs to drop down a secondary, even a tertiary. Siege Workshop needs to pump these guys out immediately. You can't allow this to build up, because the problem that you'll have is he's on 6 Manjaniques right now, but this number could look to increase significantly. And remember that those upgrades for the Manjaniques are significant. That adjustable crossbars gives them that extra burst damage, gives them that extra burst shot, and you can see it coming out once again there against the enemy spears, the enemy front line. Still got 3 bombards in queue. He needs to get rid of these units. So what has he got that he can get rid of right now? I guess you could go for villagers, but you probably just want to get everything out of queue and just allow these bombards to come out immediately. We can see that he's really struggling with that pop space. Where is it all? Still nothing on the backside here. Just the one bombard. Another thing to note is you probably want to switch your Temple of the Sun over to the Divine Defense. This allows you to get an extra little bit of range on that bombard, and can be the difference between getting a kill and not getting a kill. So look out to see whether he picks that one up or not. Firing through the wood line here, over the top. And that Cloud of Terror is starting to work down these units. You can see he's doing a little bit of AoE damage in here. Manjanique fires off. Hits the bombard. He's got to be careful. He's being focused down. Bombard not paying attention. He's got 4 in queue. He's going to lose it. I don't know where his attention is. Oh, you know where his attention is. His attention's in the enemy base, where unfortunately for Vortex, he has left a gaping hole in his stone walls. And that means now battering... Oh my lord, look at this. We've got battering rams up on the top side. He's found a nice little way to break through behind the walls. There's the battering, or the Siege Workshop. He's come through. And meanwhile, Vortex is fully focused on this south side of the map. Cat says, no, sorry, Bob, ain't gonna happen. Look at this Vil count. Look at this Vil count. He's taken out 184 compared to 104. Do you remember how even and Steven these guys were before this? Before, like, you know, 5 minutes ago or so? It was an even game. And now all of a sudden, Cat is starting to pull ahead. He's taken out a lot of Vils. This is a huge investment that all of a sudden Vortex has got to invest in. Okay, I like it. I like the progress here with the Manjaniques. I like the progress. He's got the ability now to focus. He's put down a second Siege Workshop. There's the third Siege Workshop. They're all pumping bombards. Exactly what he needs. And he's throwing away units on the other side of the map, running them around. And not just running them into the enemy army, running them into the enemy base, which means you're distracting the army and now looking to turn around here. The defense for Cat. He's holding on. He wants to make it. You know how important this is for him. It's a ladder game, but it's against one of the best in the world, Vortex, right now. The Cloud of Terror defense, it's solid. Look at that. Look at the absolute destruction we are witnessing as those bombards line up. The Culverin trying to fire back, doesn't get any successful takeouts, any eliminations. And because of that, you'd have to say the position for Cat is looking quite solid. After that defense, Vortex on 165. Keep in mind, he lost a lot of Vils, but trade is now starting to be set up. Obviously not going to be going into the trade wing. Nothing to really offer him there. But look at Cat's response. He says, no, sorry, Bob. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. In what world do you think you're getting 77 gold a pop here, baby? And he tries his best to wall it up. Doesn't get through all of the walls here. You can see it's not 100%. There is still a way. I don't know whether he's realized it just yet, but this keep is going to be able to shut down the majority of these traders. There's 1. There's 2. And now he falls back. He says, I can't do it. Here goes another one. Back towards that south side. Cat. Now, at 186 population. He's on 7 bombards. A single grenadier mixed in. And the Jukunu hero begins to make his way forward. You are seeing the power of the Jussi Legacy Imperial Age. This is the stuff all Jussi players dream about. You start a game as the Jussi Legacy and you hope you make it to this moment. You hope you don't die before then. And Cat gets to see that moment. He gets to live that moment. Every Jussi player's wet dream. This is it. If you're a Jussi fan right now, You got to be enjoying this. Look at the amount of cloud of terrors he's got down here. Has he got that extra range as well? He does have that extra range. Great to see that coming through the divine defense. And now focusing down the mangonels on the backside. Doesn't look like the AoE's having too much of an impact. Manjanique's fire down. There we go, a little bit more. He's got them shift click, trying to take out the Manjaniques. The response to mass Manjanique is mass bombard. The problem is these bombards are clouds of terror, and they rain down upon the enemy as the Manjaniques go down slowly off that backline. He's managed to take out quite a bit on that juicy front. Still 4 Manjaniques stand tall. All of the Jukunu have been taken out as well. Trade is coming down here, 23 gold a pop. I'll take that trade. And the next bombards continue to come out. He's only got 3 in the bag, 5 on the side of Vortex, and he continues to push forward. Vortex now, all of a sudden, looking to take this game. Somehow, some way, what was the difference? Why was he able to do that? I think the biggest problem was that the bombards were clumping up, so the Manjaniques were getting good value off that. I think you're going to need to split those up a little bit more. And now forced away from that front line. Vortex, together with Cat, look to try and finish these armies off. He's having trouble here. The problem that he's got is he's got no gold. You can see right now, this is his only solution. He's been shut off completely. He's been shut off completely. He gives up. He knows that it's over. His opponent's got infinite gold, but he's got none. And that's it. That's the reason why he taps out right there. This army looked reasonable, but he knew he couldn't win. Incredible game from Cat. GG to Vortex. And in the end, go check him out. I'll leave links in the description. And what another banger. Damn 2025.